Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Vickie's Country Home. Today I want to make a response to a collaboration that is being led by Liz Zorab and Dutra Duncan, and it's people who inspire me. And this really got me to thinking about the people in my life that have inspired me. There's going to be a whole lot more that are not on this list, and they're for various parts of my life. But there are a few that just really stand out. So those are the ones I want to talk about today. And number one is going to be my grandma. She was such an incredible lady. She grew up as a sharecropper's daughter. She met my grandpa and married him, I don't know, I think she was in her 20s, I'm not sure. And they had 5 children, but she became a widow when she was pretty young, and my grandpa was just 30. I think she was about 34. But she went on to raise her children. My mother was 17 when my grandfather passed away. He was a fireman on a railroad and he had a heart attack. But Grandma just kept going and she raised her children. She gardened like crazy. She could grow anything. She could just pinch something off, stick it in dirt, and it would grow. She was amazing. And I picked that up from her because it's like, well, what's it gonna hurt? Just try it. She could cook, she canned, she had chickens, she was just a really special lady, and you never wanted to cross her because she was pretty fast when she needed to get a willow switch. So that's a memory that every one of her grandchildren, and there's 20 of them I believe, we all took to our adulthood, Grandma and the willow switch. But she was amazing. She never drove. They tried to let her once. My uncle had rebuilt a Model T, and she got in there and started driving, and they never let her drive another vehicle again. It was, I think it was pretty traumatic, but I'm not sure. I don't remember it. But no matter what, she just kept going and doing, and her faith was so strong, and she never remarried. She stayed true to Grandpa all those years, and I miss her terribly, but she was probably the main inspiration for everything I do now. The next would be my mother, because in many ways it was alike. My mother was not a widow. She was divorced when I was 6, but she had 3 daughters and she raised us. She went to work. She had a high school diploma. She went to work at Kelly Air Force Base as a worker. And that's basically what it sounds like. You're just a worker. I'm not going to say just, but you're a worker. You do the more manual types of labor. It may have been sorting parts, I don't know, but that was her classification when she started. But she worked her way up until she retired with no secondary education, only what the Air Force gave her in training over the years. She went from a worker to a branch chief. And if you know anything about Kelly Air Force Base, it was a huge Air Force base, and she worked in a mile-long hangar in procurement, and she worked her way up. So that tells me that you can start out anywhere, but if you work hard and just constantly learn, then you have opportunities. But you have to work hard, and she did. And a lot of what I've learned is the same in business or whatever I do. I'm only held back by what I believe and by what I let hold me back. I constantly learn. So thank you, Mama, for teaching me that. And she also is so much of the inspiration for the recipes that I do and the cooking. Because we didn't have a lot of money, but you know what? We always ate good. No matter what, we ate good. So that was another thing I learned from her. So the next would be my husband, Brian, because he's just an amazing man. He's a godly man. He loves us dearly. He provides well for us. And he works so hard. And he puts up with me. And I'm sure that that's not easy sometimes. We all know how that goes. But he loves me no matter what. And he has supported my interests and in everything I've wanted to do. Whether it was starting my business, this YouTube channel, no matter what, he backs me up 100%, and that's huge. And that is a huge inspiration for me. And I could go on and on with lots of people that I've met in business. I have one friend in particular in Reno, Marianne, that she's amazing. She's older than me by a bit, but she never stops learning and growing and starting new ventures. I mean, I'm just so inspired by that woman. Then there are a few YouTube channels. These ladies, when I started watching about 10 years ago, I just was like a sponge learning from them, and I kept thinking that this is just so awesome that I can watch these and learn from them. But I could never do that. And I still believed that up until about 7-8 months ago. And I really did believe that there's no way I would want or be able to have a YouTube channel and do what I'm doing now. I couldn't even comprehend it. I was too shy. It just wasn't going to happen. But I met Linda from Linda's Pantry, and she encouraged me and told me people would want to hear what you have to say. And I know they don't. What do they want to hear about this old lady that lives out in the high desert? And you know, what is there about me that people want to hear? But she kept talking to me about it, and it planted a seed, and so I decided to try it. So thank you, Linda, because she was the one that really encouraged me to do this. But there's others. Cat's Cradle, watching her and learning from her was just huge. But I think one of my favorite in a lot of ways was Bear Prepper. I learned tons from her, but I think part of that is because she's from my hometown. So the things that she would make and the way she would say things, it reminded me of home. So those ladies have all been awesome, and there's many, many others. I watched so many. But I think those are my biggest inspiration. So thank you, ladies, if you're watching. And I could go on, but I'm going to stop it there. And I just want to thank you all for watching me, and maybe you can think about the people that have inspired you, and more how and why they inspired you. What was it that gave you that inspiration, and how did it help you? And maybe if you have a channel, or even if it's not on YouTube, that maybe you can learn from that and go out and inspire others, because we all have value and we all have something to teach and something to show other people. You just got to have a little bit of faith in yourself and kind of reach outside that comfort zone like I did, because I'm still I'm still reaching outside that comfort zone. So thank you for watching. Thank you for visiting Vickie's Country Home. If you like it, thumbs up, subscribe, share, put the little bell on if you want to watch more. But more than anything, I just want to thank you for visiting with me, and we will talk again soon.